Welcome to Critical Trigger. I am your host, Wolf the Legend, and today we've got a very interesting episode. For one, it marks the return of Critical Trigger. Been on a bit of a hiatus. There's a couple reasons, real life things such as school, work, etc., as well as transitioning into forming a league called Clan Battles. That took a lot more effort and time than I anticipated, and so I put all my time and focus into that. And that is what also attributes to the lack of critical triggers, but I hope with this return to make it a more regular thing. At the back half of this podcast, you can hear an interview between myself and Swipe, the leader of TOF, as well as the captain of the team of champions from Clan Battles Season 1. So we can hear all about the process and how they did it. But first things first, in some Vanguard news, at least for the global side of things, we are fresh off of the first season with the new set. So it's been nothing but Eradicators and golds and rush down decks all over the ladder. So hopefully you guys got what you needed to out of the set. If you didn't, this season they introduced the sparking banner for global. So now if you were to pull on the new set, you would be able to essentially acquire medals, and you could use those medals to then get SP versions of certain cards. I think all triple rares are in there, and it might be double R's. I don't know if all double R's are in there, but double R's are, at least some double R's are available. So that's what's going on for that. We're about day one into the new season as far as ranked goes. So if any of you are grinding, this season's reward, I believe, is the triple R for Genesis. Grade 3 triple R for Genesis. I forget the name right now, but that's what the rank reward is. So if you're interested in grinding out for that, go ahead. Otherwise, you might want to grind for some packs and resources to go into the next set, which will be coming out at the conclusion of this ranked season. So we also have a spike events coming up. This is gonna make spikes or bring them back to relevancy. It's not necessarily that they're irrelevant, but this is just make them all the more relevant. So that's gonna be coming up, and that's about all I can think of for in-game global news. For the JP side of things, I think they just got done with their fall tournament. It was Eradicators and Spikes and Shadows, I believe, made up the finals. I think one of the third or fourth place finishers somehow made it to the top with Tsukiyomi. So it's good to see that at least some decks have the potential to, despite what the meta currently is, still be able to perform well. I wish Bushiroad would do another fall and winter tournament with us with Global like they did with the Summerfest, but it seems like maybe they're just focusing all their efforts onto the JP side of things, which leads me to the news outside of the game. So in tournament news, there's been kind of a slowly growing and steady tournament scene that consists of the Morikawa server, that consists of the QK server. They do tournaments daily. I believe the Morikawa server does tournaments, I think 4 to 5 big ones per month. So you're going to want to join the Morikawa Vanguard server if you want to keep up with that, as well as the QK Vanguard server. And if you're interested in a team league or just consistent Friday tournaments for cash prizes, my server is always available as well. It'll be 2 different servers. One server, the Den, for the solo tournaments. I've been thinking about maybe implementing a tournament bot to make tournaments a little more regular and anybody can host them. The prizes will be up to the discretion of the host, but at least it will be more things going on during the week that you can test your mettle at. And let me know if that would be a good idea, if that's something you guys would like to see implemented. I'm also, the other server is Clan Battles, which is the team league. We're revving up for season 2. We're fresh off the heels of season 1, where Twist of Fate took the chip in a highly contested and super close match that if you're interested in seeing, you can go on to my Twitch channel. That is twitch.tv/WolfTheLegend1. You can go there and you can check it out. It should be in the highlights of my VODs, and it's definitely can't miss, and you should go check it out if you haven't already seen it. Which leads me to introing this next segment of the interview that I did with the leader of TOF. A little history on TOF. I actually founded TOF alongside an old pal named Duck, Dr. McStrange Duck, to be specific. We founded this thing way back in my Duel Links days. They had their team league going, and I just wanted to start a team. I've always been that type of person. I can join and work well on teams, but I'm just the type of person, I want to start my own thing, start my own team, and so I did just that. And we started it. We made it to playoffs. In its inception, it was me and a bunch of people, all free agency, as well as a couple of IRL friends. We were completely in over our heads, but somehow we made it to the playoffs, where we proceeded to get washed, and then TOF disbanded. I went on to join a few other teams before ending my competitive Duel Links days and joining Vanguard, where I would revive the TOF name under our predecessors who, Clan Wars. We all know how that went. Or was it Team Wars? It was Team Wars or Clan Wars. Whatever the previous Vanguard Team 1 was. Revived it there. We did okay. We were, I believe, a match away from making it into the playoffs. Didn't. Went on another campaign with Swipe, Card Fighter, Wu Tills, and myself. And we participated in the Morikawa MMM team event, where we finished 2-1, didn't make playoffs. And then I create Clan Battles, where I passed the keys of the team off to Swipe because I did not want to be biased, didn't want to participate and have anybody thinking that the league was rigged. And so I completely stepped away from being a competitive player in terms of Clan Battles. And what Swipe did next was something that I could never do as the leader of TOF, and he led them to a championship. And we're going to find out exactly how he did it. So stick around for the interview. Okay, so I know it's been a while, but we're back with Critical Trigger, and we have an interview with Swipe, the leader of TOF, who's also the current reigning champs from Clan Battles Season 1. So everybody, welcome Swipe. Swipe, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. So you just won the chip. How do you feel?
It's actually really exciting. It's especially since the only other team event I entered, we went 2-1, didn't make playoffs. For this, going undefeated the entire way through with a whole team of people that I know, it's really exciting.
Yeah, I think I was part of that team that went 2-1 and didn't make playoffs, so I know what you're referring to. But now, as people would have heard in the intro, I was the founder of TOF, and to make a unbiased league as well as focus on just the formation of it, I passed the keys to TOF off to you. What were your thoughts when I did that?
I know, again, you didn't want to be biased, run a team, or have your team being just input by you. So I was fine taking it over. It's still your team, but I was just helping run it, captain it as best as I could.
Now, when it came to recruiting players, did you already have in mind the squad that you were going to recruit, or what was that process like?
Yeah, I went and talked to the two people that I did team tournament with previously, Wu Tills and Cardfighter. And Wu Tills was down. Cardfighter actually was going to join a different team. And at the last second, he rejoined back up with us. So that was
with that one. Did you just convince him, or did things fall through with the other team?
I think it just kind of fell through with the other team. He said he was going to join Double Critical, actually. Oh. And I looked at the roster right when I was finalizing ours, saw he wasn't on it, and just gave him another offer to rejoin.
Okay. I mean, things worked out.
Yeah. And then for the remaining people, I just really looked for people who've done really well on the online scene, primarily in the den. It's similar kind of playing. You have two decks. They're both going to be different, just like this, just kind of like clan battle. So people who can handle that, you have to win 4 matches in a row, will be fine handling this. And that's how we ended up bringing in Tweetums, McGain, and Nut.
Okay. So good to hear that the den was useful in recruiting players. So talk to me a little bit about the season starts and the scheduling. Was it intentional that you didn't play up until playoffs, or is it just that's how the schedule worked out?
So basically, as a captain, I was fine just hands off. I know these people, I trust in their abilities. I know they want to play. So I'm fine not playing. So the first week I didn't play. Second week I actually was in the lineup. Nut and Tweetums just beat everybody. And then week 3 I wasn't in the lineup because, again, everyone wanted to play. Week 4 I had to be back in. We couldn't have enough for 4 people to play. And again, Nut just took everyone out before I could play.
Yeah, so Nut kind of went nuts on the league. What does it feel like to have like such a reliable ace in the hole like that on the team?
That was great because, again, it's between like everyone on the team was really good. Everyone has their own abilities, but Nut, in particular, 19-5 in 4 rounds. He played every week, and he was just a rock. It's once he went in, it's like, okay, I'll handle it. And the only time he lost, Tweetums came in and just cleaned it up. He's like between those two, Tweetums 5-1, he never lost a match, and Nut 19-5. They handled a big bulk of the work.
That's true. I think Nut may get overlooked, but I think he's like right behind Pat as far as just performances via the circuit. And anytime there's a big tournament going on where Global can participate, he's usually in it and in the top. So I think he's just a player that, because he doesn't do a lot of, at least I don't see him do a lot of talking on the servers or in the Twitch chat, but he's just usually a player that's just quiet, comes in and just puts in work.
Yeah, no, Nut in particular, he's the kind of guy who in the finals he was like, hey guys, I don't even have to play, you guys can do it. And as a captain, I have to be in there and be like, no, you are playing. You don't get to take the week off. But he's just, again, everyone, that's one important factor of the team. Everyone was fine with other people playing in their place. Everyone was for the team, and everyone kind of trusted in their abilities.
Okay, that's good to hear. So it was a real team-first mentality. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when it came down to the playoffs, you guys had did so well in the regular season that you had already earned your spot in the championships. Did you have a preference of what team you wanted to face?
Not really, just because, again, as it was, even like VOC1 and AL4 came in with the last records in the league, and they're still competitive teams. Each team had the ability to win. You have, again, like when it came down to DC versus VOC2, both of those teams have people that can win, take over a match. My preference was to play against VOC2 just because Pat and Mazza, those are two of the people that I respect the most in the game, and I like playing against them. But both teams were qualified. Both teams had a chance to win.
Okay, so so you didn't have a preference there. So it comes around to championship weekend. Now, I guess technically speaking, the team that played that Friday to determine who you guys would face Sunday would have had a tougher time, but did you guys face any difficulty having not played for a longer period of time? Because you went into a bye week and then into the championship weekend. So technically it was like, what, about 2 weeks before you played that championship match?
Yeah, with the new stuff coming out, it kind of just was each player playing their own individual tournaments and trying to figure something out. Mm-hmm. I think we actually had 4 members enter the first Coco Cup with the new set just to try to get new decks under control, and I think we took first, second, and fourth. So
okay,
it was just a lot of playing on the side, yeah.
Because I remember, I think that's the week I did not do circuit. So yeah, I was wondering how you guys prepared.
Yeah, there was no circuit to prepare, so it was just all kind of like side tournaments. Because even again, like Morikawa wasn't having their dailies, so it was just finding what you can and then also doing ranked. I was in top 100 for a while just because I played so much ranked.
Mm-hmm. So did you plan on playing, or as the day drew nearer, you found out the schedules of everybody and that 2 people could not play?
I actually wasn't supposed to play. Wootil's about 3 a.m. ended up messaging and saying that I had to play for him. He wasn't going to be able to play. So I just, okay, if I'm the sub, I come in when it's needed.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now it's the day of it was a pretty close match to start out. Actually, the match was close the whole way. You guys won with 1 deck remaining. Were you guys in a voice call at all, or was everybody just trusting in each other?
So we never did voice calls, but what we would always be in the TOF chat, just not necessarily even talking strategy, but just hyping each other up, saying you got it, just keeping the good vibes going. Mm-hmm.
And then I think somewhere in the middle of the game, you guys fell behind by maybe about 2 decks, right?
Yeah, so we ended up falling behind. Then Tweetums came in, tied us back up, and then he lost with his second deck, which put us behind 1.
And then that's when you came in?
Yeah, then I came in after that.
Yep, and you came in with what deck?
First I started off with Eradicator.
And that lost, right?
Yeah, I drew all my heals, and it was not a good game.
No, but then you went on a bit of a streak with Aquaforce, right?
Yeah, Aquaforce, which it's the deck I was playing before. Like before Eradicators was even out, it was just an Aquaforce main. I played that every tournament.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that your team that day did better with just the decks they had already previously played as opposed to the newer set?
I think so. Yeah, it's while I think the newer set decks are better, you can easily just get rushed down in games that are in your control or no longer in your control. While the older decks we had more experience with, and I think we just did better overall with them.
Mm-hmm. So, and it all came down to Nut, right?
Yeah, Nut decided. Nut wanted to go last, and it came up to him 2 versus 2 against Mazza. Mm-hmm. And Nut ended up taking it down in a really close match. It came down to where, one turn, if Nut didn't kill him that turn, Nut was going to be dead the next.
Yeah, were you nervous at all?
No, not at all, because, Mazda's washed up like Pat, and Nut's just a really strong competitor. But, yeah, no, it's, again, Vanguard 0, there is luck involved, even though it is a skillful game, and it can go any way in that situation. One trigger on either side determines the match there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was just about as an exciting match, maybe the most exciting match that I've seen all clan battle season, and only like a few circuit matches even come to mind as far as just matching that level of intensity and luck and not knowing what's gonna happen. So that was a match fitting of the grand finals.
Yeah, like our closest match before that, it came down to the last person, but then that was Tweetums, and he just kind of team. So that was against AL4 actually. And after that, we kind of just were doing really well in every match. So going back down to that close, that was something we really didn't experience until the very end.
Yeah, and just to see, especially being part of TOF since the inception and not having won anything of significance while I was an active TOF member, it still felt good to see you guys win. And before anybody comments, no, I didn't rig the schedule in any way, shape, or form. They just played and performed exceptional, did what they had to do, and they clinched the win. But with that being said, I did see, because we're in the off season now, and so far Megane has split from you guys, bid his farewell, and formed his own team with the Chuni clan. How did you feel about that?
Well, so McGinn actually, he came and talked to me beforehand. He asked for permission, and I'm pretty sure even if I said no, he would have went anyways. But I said yes, of course. I understand. Like the point of the game is to play with your friends, have fun, and he's been a Chuni clan back in the beginning. So again, it's gonna hurt our team losing McGain. He played 3 of the 4 weeks and in playoffs, and he was probably the most vocal person in terms of like, oh, what can I do to fix this deck? Should I go first, second? He was more involved in a lot into like choices and things like that in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always going to be losing a member, especially one like as good as McGain. He just got second place on the circuit, having fun. It's always going to affect the team. We're just hoping we can combat that and still come back as champions this second season.
Mm-hmm. And outside of him, is your roster largely the same? And are you looking to fill that 7th spot?
Well, so we have 5 people. We actually only went with 6, and we didn't even bring a 7th person in the season 1.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, right now we're currently just the 5 people, and it looks like it's the same exact 5. We may just even run it with the 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
Because as long as we get activity from everyone, our 5 people I think is one of the strongest group of 5 in the league. We have people who've won circuits just throughout all of them. We have again Tweetums, Nut, Card Fighter, Wootills, all 4 of them. They can dominate a match.
Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, there are already more teams. And there are already some new competitors, such as a Dragfall. He's in the league now. So I think it's gonna be tougher from a competitive standpoint, just because more skilled players are involved. So what do you think? How do you think the newer teams will perform? And do you think there is a learning curve in this type of format?
So some of the players being added were ones I actually even considered talking to when I first was originally looking for people for the team. Mm-hmm. So I know they're very talented players, and I know, again, they have the ability to dominate matches. A lot of it comes down to strategy, and that does take time. Like you saw earlier in the season, even with VOC2, they would have Pat go first, and then once Pat got out, it was just kind of downhill. That's why they were losing matches, and then in the finals, then you see like, oh, Pat's going third and things like that. It's just stuff you pick up over time. Again, Pat could go first and dominate 8 people, but at the end of the day, if someone's prepared to take out Tsukiyomi, you're just throwing away Pat in the beginning.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think that takes some time to get used to. However, if people watch the clan battles and what was going on, that's something you also can pick up. Like I know Dark Phantom, he's played with the QK guys. I've seen him in chat every week for clan battles, rooting people on, including my team. So if he paid attention, which I'm pretty sure he did, he can take that over, help Coco just make QK a competitor right away.
Yeah, that is true. The QK boys are now in the league, and they boast a really skillful roster as well. So it's definitely going to be a super competitive season. Like you said, I mean, what are your expectations for your team? Do you think you could win it again?
Yeah, that's the goal. Every time we go out there, it's to win the match. As far as I'm concerned, we're going to go undefeated again the second season and take down another championship.
That's what I like to hear. What are your overall thoughts on season 1 of Clan Battles? I think it concluded a little bit better than our predecessor. You guys actually got paid. So that's a start, but what are your overall thoughts?
I think Clan Battles was actually really successful for the first season. Like you mentioned, we got paid same day. Then I paid out the individual members the same day. And in terms of how it was ran, there was kind of, I don't want to say confusion, but people kind of didn't understand like the time restrictions at first. Mm-hmm. And as I slowly got into it, people realized, oh, okay, this isn't a 4 or 5 hour event. Like matches were ending in 3 hours, 2.5 sometimes. It was going pretty quickly. And again, you only have to be available for your part, which also helped. There's times where we're like, we're just sitting in the chat, and that's like, oh, just message me when it's my time. I have to do some other stuff. And when it came time, we just tag him, and he comes up. He doesn't have to sit and wait the whole time. So I think a lot of that was the concerns. People were like the time limit, but I think everyone had fun. There was no real issues, like technical glitches week one, but that's Vanguard Zero's end, not ours.
Yeah. If you could change anything, what would it be?
Well, again, just to put Mazza on the spot, we were going to have an all-star game, but he was too busy to have it. So,
yeah.
Yeah. But season 2, for sure, there'll be just some more things thrown into the league to add some fun. I'm pretty sure.
All right. That's all I can think of as far as questions. You have any parting statements, any words to your team, any words about the upcoming season? The floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to season 2. It should be happening near the end of the month, beginning of next month, and we're just with the strong team, Nut, Tweetums, Wootills, and Cardfighter. We're just going to take it down again.
All right, that's what I like to hear. So there you guys have it. That's the interview with the captain of your reigning champs, TOF Twist of Fate. I think you guys are going to have a target on your back. I think people are going to give you their best every week. And if there's anybody that could take up that challenge, I believe it's you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Thank you for the interview. And I look forward to seeing what you and TOF do in Season 2.